Today we'll walk you through how to properly use a screw thread micrometer. These micrometers measure the pitch of the thread directly, and by referring to an external screw thread chart, we can determine if the measured screw is acceptable. The micrometer has interchangeable 60-degree pointed spindles and a matching double V-shaped swiveling anvil. In order to determine which spindle and anvil to use, you will first need to identify the thread pitch you'll be measuring. First, measure the major diameter of the thread. A quick way to do this is to use a caliper. This screw's major diameter is roughly 0.4960 inches. Refer to a screw thread chart to identify the screw size. This screw falls within the major diameter range of a 1/2 screw size, with either 13 or 20 threads per inch. Next, you'll use a pitch gauge to determine the threads per inch. We know it's either 13 or 20 TPI, based off of the thread chart, so we'll check those two leaves. The correct thread size will fit into the threads on the screw. Since the 13 leaf fits, we know this is a 1/2 13 thread. The threads per inch range is etched onto each anvil and spindle. For this screw, we'll find the 13 to 9 TPI size. The double V shape goes on the anvil side, and the pointed spindle goes into the spindle side. To calibrate the micrometer, first set the micrometer to read 0, then lock the spindle in place. Push the anvil until it's fully against the spindle and lock it to calibrate. You can always check if the micrometer is still calibrated by returning to 0. Now we can measure the pitch diameter. Open up the mic and measure the screw. Make sure the threads are lined up with the anvil and spindle, with the screw centered and not tilted. This screw's pitch diameter comes out to 0.4466 inches, which falls in the pitch diameter range for the 1/2 13 size on the thread chart, making this an acceptable screw. Let's try another example. The major diameter of this screw is roughly 0.3700 inches, making it either a 3/8 16 or 3/8 24 size screw. Using the pitch gauge, we found the threads per inch to be 24, identifying the screw as a 3/8 24 size. We'll need the 24 to 14 TPI anvil and spindle. Replace the anvil and spindle with the 24 to 14 size. Recalibrate by setting the micrometer to 0 and pushing the anvil against the spindle. Be sure to lock the anvil. Open the mic and measure the screw, making sure the threads are lined up and the screw isn't misaligned. This screw's pitch diameter comes out to 0.3448 inches, which falls in the acceptable range for a 3/8 24 screw size on the thread chart. Comment below with any other questions about screw thread micrometers. You can order both mechanical and electronic screw thread micrometers in multiple ranges on shars.com, including hundreds of other standard and specialty measuring tools.